Boba Fett is waiting for the handy helper to throw that frisbee for him. He's like, throw it, throw it. Handy helper's very relaxed because he had a really good visit at the chiropractor. Let me tell him, remind him. All right, everybody, it is scrap of the day number 6. Isn't that exciting? This came from a pen pal envelope, that I thought was particularly pretty. Hey, y'all. Hey, it's your friend Patty with Giddy Things. I am back for day 193 of our 5-minute in-name only exercise encouragement. How are you? I am doing well. Thank you for asking. I'm looking out of the studio and those beautiful views. You know, if you've watched for a while, what those look like. It's kind of an overcast day today. It's been raining, which I love. And let's see, I got a bunch of work done today. Of course, I had a really good workshop that I got to record for my students with one of my students. We were talking about writing about literature and the various secondary sources that you can use, and it was so cool. This student is really in it to win it, and that is always a nice thing. That's always something good to have. I'm moving the phone all over the place. I don't know why. Sorry about that. As you know, I am a silly goose. So I had a smoothie for breakfast. It was delicious. I think the disembodied voice, let's see, he told me, we were coming back from Tennessee the other day, he told me the things that are in the smoothie. So it's a banana, a serving of Oikos 000 yogurt, whatever flavor that happens to be, some frozen fruit, a couple of scoops of pea protein, and a Premier protein shake. So it is a powerhouse of protein with the yogurt, the Premier protein shake, and the pea protein. That's a lot of good, primarily, not completely because of the yogurt, but primarily, and probably the Premier protein. Anyway, a third of what that is plant based, and so that's really good. Roughly a third. You know, I'm an English teacher, so my hair is all over the place. So I'm not gonna worry about the math on that. The sun just came out. It's so pretty. But it's definitely, if you've seen any of the recent videos, if you haven't, welcome. It is really turning here into the beautiful fall, beautiful autumn. That's going to be all the seasons here are gorgeous. And so that's lovely. I wrote 3 postcards today in addition to working and giving students feedback, designing assignments and workshopping. And then, y'all, I'm trying to figure out what to do with my Beanie Babies. I'm looking at them right now. Y'all, they're so, let me show you. Look at those faces, y'all. I have had them for so long. I've had most of these for, 25 years. Older than the handy helper. So probably more like 25 years, maybe 24. Anyway, it's a long time, and they're in fantastic shape. I had a variety of ideas. Look at their little faces. Oh, look at the kitties. Look at the kitties. I had a variety of ideas of what to do with them, but and there's my pillow and a blankie and a towel for when I need a towel under my knee, some wrapped coins that we need to deposit. Right, and there's a blood pressure cuff over there and some books. And those are more Beanie Babies. Do you see that box? We don't know why it says Poor 1977 on it. We have no idea. That came from, I think, Marty, and I'm sure it was some kind of organizing thing for them. But it turned out that way. Then there's Goose Creek handles on the bottom. But, y'all, the disembodied voice, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, the disembodied voice says that I should sell them. And I don't know. It's hard to tell. I didn't buy them for an investment at all, but I don't know, you can't see it because they're not displayed super well, but maybe I'll look on Pinterest and see how people display them. But in the back, I have a bunch of the bears. I mean, I have the princess bear that was made in honor of Princess Diana. I just have so many. I don't know what to do with them. Well, if that isn't a first world problem, I don't know what is. That is such a first world problem. I don't know what to do with my Beanie Babies. Urgh. So yeah, that's making my mind up about that. I'm cogitating on it. Another thing we're thinking about a lot these days is how to make our beautiful kitties some shelter outside to make them really like a house. And here's the cool thing. Let's sit up for this. We already had and have a really nice chicken coop. It was for when we kept chickens. What ended up happening, we had neighbors across the street many years ago who had chickens, and when they moved, they needed to move for one of the people's job. And so when they moved, we took their chickens. We also got some little Americanas that we raised also, and we put, those are the Easter egger ones, they're so cute. And we had this coop in the backyard because the folks who moved from across the street, when we took their chickens, they said, hey, do you just want the coop? And it was really nicely built from scratch. And so the disembodied voice took it apart on the neighbor's property, brought it over here and put it back together on our property because it really was nice and really nicely built. One of the people in that couple, they had a couple of kids, and one of the people in that couple had built it. And it was really, really nice. And the disembodied voice is great with stuff like that. So he was able to reconstruct it here. So, I mean, y'all, in this studio, he took up the flooring. And since there was nothing wrong with it, he put the flooring back down, the same flooring in exactly the same position, I'm guessing. But he's good at that kind of stuff, and I'm very grateful. So we have that coop outside. It's a really nice, and it's really big. It was way bigger than it was ever necessary for it to be. And so we've thought about, so that coop has served as a lot of different things, and we've thought about going ahead and making it a sheltered cat enclosure, I guess, where they have plenty of room, and then extending like a catio type yard with lots of nice area that they can go to and still remain safe. And the reason we're really having to think about this, I'm going to go ahead, full disclosure. So we need to make the house more navigable, primarily for me. Also, as I am in need of someone who is more free with time to get me from point A to point B, to help me get from point A to point B, it is, because of my use of the wheelchair, it's going to be increasingly necessary for us to have more room in the house to make it more navigable. I think I already said that. And also to free up some of the disembodied voices' time. We have a lot of pets, and we are fully committed to being responsible for our pets and making sure they have great, comfortable, happy lives where they are so loved. And of course they are. But what's going to have to happen in a couple of those cases is cats that we intended originally to foster and then help them get forever homes, that it didn't turn out that way. We need to figure out a way to get them in an outside space, but we're not going to do that unless, well, it's not really an outside space, is it? If it's an enclosure, we're not going to do that unless they can be completely warm during the winter. So we shelter, our feral cats have cat boxes, shelters that they can stay in for any cats who need to come by and just make a pit stop and take a nap. We have those, and they're insulated and very, very warm, that we put out in the winter. And so we would need to do that in a cat enclosure like that. We would, of course, make it sanitary, and all the things would be all the things. But we have to figure out, with the balance of the number of cats we have, how to shift them around so that they're still really well cared for and really clean and really healthy, and we have the room in the house for me to get around in a wheelchair, and also the time that the disembodied voice and the handy helper devote to taking care of the cats may have to be a little shifted around too, because of getting me from points A to point B and all the points beyond. Another thing about it is it would make it a lot easier if we needed to go out of town for others to care for our inside animals if they had an inside outside kind of location. I haven't explained it very well, but there's a plan. As that goes forward, I'll share it with this community because I love you and you're my friends, and I'll let you know what's going to happen with Feline Fine Heights apartment complex that we have in the house and how that kind of transitions. Another thing that's really interesting about that in general is a couple of our inside cats are super non-social, like with the other cats, there's other issues that have come up. We've talked to our vet and we've made all the necessary inquiries because we take pet ownership super seriously. We take being responsible for any living thing super seriously. We want to be good stewards of the earth and the creatures that God has put into our care, and we want to be good stewards in general of our sense of community, and that includes people and everybody that we can impact positively. It's a really rewarding way to live a life. So, but without being preachy or judgmental or thinking that I certainly know how flawed I am and that I am not better than anybody else. I'm just doing my best to do my best, right? So I hope that you are having a wonderful day today. I have 2 pen pal letters to which to respond, so I'll likely make some clips as I look through those and also just as I write back to them. I have one that came from Australia and one that came from Michigan. And then today I got a postcard from Kenosha, Wisconsin. No, not Michigan. Okay, one letter from Australia. I got one letter from Minnesota. And then I got one postcard, I'll get it eventually, from Kenosha, Wisconsin. You know, from that TV show, that 70s show, Hello, Wisconsin, or whatever that is. So that was wonderful. And I'm excited about reading them more closely. I had to open them because I was excited, but I'm interested in reading those more closely. Those were to the P.O. Box. So that was fun. The handy helper and the disembodied voice had to go into town today. The handy helper needed to go to his college class, and then the disembodied voice takes him there. And also the handy helper had a chiropractic appointment today. So that's what they're doing right now. Did I already say I hope you know how special you are? My goodness, I hope you're doing something today to help yourself feel how special and amazing you are. I hope that you will always know how loved you are. My goodness, I love you so much. Your friend Patty is in your corner. And I hope that you will continue to go with me in peace and love to serve others. Please do pray for the whole world with a special intention for Ukraine.